we are going to begin by being seated on our heels. So if you want a block or a pillow or something like that, sit on, I would recommend such a thing. I literally just take a yoga block just like this, pop it under, and have a seat. But you could very easily take a couch cushion or a rolled up towel or your pillow from your bed or anything like that. And just sit on it, just so we're having a little less pressure on our ankles. But if you feel comfortable sitting this way without a prop, props to you. So we're going to get started very shortly, and we're just going to hang out here in this position for about 2 to 3 minutes. I would like you to sit up nice and tall, and if you have the ability this morning or this afternoon or this evening to breathe alternate nostril style, I invite you to do so. If you're like, it's winter time, it's not happening, understand, just breathing in, breathing out, nice and relaxing and normal-like. And if you're ready to try the alternate nostril breathing, all you're going to do is, sometimes people do this little hang 10. I usually just use my finger. But all you're going to do is you're going to breathe in through your right nostril while holding your left nostril closed. Hold it for like a second or so, and then switch and breathe out through your left nostril and keep your right closed. So the breath's going in and out, and then up and down, and you're just switching back and forth, and it's basically just a way to just slowly breathing down, concentrate on your breath. And if you've never done it before, it's kind of nice and meditative. So I invite you to give it a try for about 2 or 3 minutes. Otherwise, you're just breathing in nice, slow, and controlled. Or if there's another breath style that you would like to do this morning, by all means, enjoy. Slowly bring your breath back to normal. And we're still sitting up nice and tall. Bring your arms down by your side, and then just walk your fingertips forward, leaving your hips where they are. Our back is straight. Walk those fingers a little bit to one side of the mat. Come back to the middle. Roll yourself up. Do big shoulder rolls. And switch direction. Bring your hands down by your side. Open them up to the top. And back down. So making big, huge half circles here. Next time your hands come down, just bring one up and over, and then down, and the other up and over, and down. 2 more just like that. Up, over, up, and over, up, and over, and up, and over. Let's transition onto all fours. You can move any pillow, prop, whatever you've got out of the way. And we're going to go through our cat-cows like we did on Tuesday. So switching back and forth between the 2 postures at your own pace. Becoming a Halloween cat for 1. And then the complete opposite of a Halloween cat. So instead of arching up, we're arching down, head up, hips up and back. And if you want to add a little movement to this, by all means, you can go circular, you can go forward and back. Sometimes your cats and cows just need a little stability, and sometimes they need some movement. Once that feels good to you, find some stillness. And just look straight down. And then drop your upper back, and then lift your upper back. 3 more like that. Down, and up, down, and up, and down, and up. Take your right leg and kick it back. Let's get a nice, good calf stretch. Lift that leg up. Slide that leg over to the side and come back down. So my foot's over here now. So I'm making a diagonal. Getting a nice stretch in this hip. And then release. I'm going to bring that leg all the way out to the side. And then lean down enough so I feel a nice stretch on my inner thigh. And I'm on the inner knife's edge of my foot. Come on up, bend that leg and work it in so it's right underneath. And we're coming on up. We're leaning forward and we're getting a hip flexor stretcher in here. Make sure you can still see your toes. We're going to lean back, work that foot over to the edge of the mat, and then drop our hands and lean in slightly. So we're still doing That same type of motion we were doing up. Now we're just doing it with our hands down on the ground. Your knee over here might slide out a little bit to the side, that's okay. And then come on up. Bring that foot right in front of you. Straighten out that leg and roll those hands down for a hamstring stretch. And come on up, back to tabletop. We're gonna do that again on that same side. This time we're gonna hold those stretches a little bit longer so you can get a little bit deeper. So we're starting out with a calf stretch. So bring that same leg back and really push that heel back to the wall behind you. And take some nice, good deep breaths. Just waking up our body a little bit, whether it be from sleep or just inactivity. Come up, cross it behind and kick back. Bring that leg out to the side and lean down. Remember, if any of these positions are painful for you, don't do it or modify so it's not painful. But a little stretch should feel good. Come on up, bring that foot in, rolling up, hands on the thigh, moving forward, hip flexor. And anytime we can have ourselves having a nice neutral neck and spine, that's what we want to do. So once you see what's going on, take your gaze away from your tablet, phone, TV, computer, whatever you've got going on, and just look forward. Relax those shoulders. And take big cleansing breaths. And come on back. Walk that foot to the side of the mat. Hands go down and lean forward. At any point in time, you would like to fold your mat on top of itself to make it more comfortable when you're on your knees. Please feel free to do so. I've also heard of people taking, let's say you have a yoga mat that's kind of it's seen better days, and so you order a new one. You take the old yoga mat and you cut little squares out of it and use that to place your knees on top of those squares. So people will take a couple squares and sew them together, or if you have a part of your mat like the top right or left corner that doesn't have a lot of squish on it from standing on it for multiple practices, they use that. So options, always options. Come on up, walk that foot in, and straighten that leg. So if the knee that you're on now, the stabilizing leg that we've been using to stabilize this entire time, if that's feeling a little sore from being on that knee for so long. When we switch over to the other side in a moment, fold your mat over and give yourself a little bit of extra pat. Yoga is not something you have to be painful with. All right, release, especially rise and shine yoga. So I think I am gonna fold over. Why not? So I'm gonna fold it on over. I'm gonna have a little bit of extra padding on this knee. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go through it first a little faster, and then second time through a little bit slower. Okay, so first, my other leg is kicked back. Calf stretch. I think this is one of my favorite sequences. And a good spinal twist, of course. Come on up. Long leg out to the side. And come on down. Walk that foot in. No rush. Just coming up nice and tall. Hands on the thighs, leaning in. Check to make sure you can still see those toes. And then nice soft gaze forward or down. And then walk that foot over to the side of the mat. Hands down, leaning on in. And rolling up. Walk that foot back in. Straighten that leg, toes up towards the ceiling, and lower down. Remember, while we're holding on to this leg, we're not like putting our whole upper body's weight on this leg. Just a little stability. If I'm having things hold my body up, I'm gonna have it use this other hand. And release. Let's go through time number 2. Nice and slow, deeper, longer, better breath control. Kick it back and hold. This is where the magic comes in. Release that leg. Bring it out to the side on the inner nice edge and come down as far as you feel comfortable. You can also come down onto a prop here if you don't want to have your forearms on the mat. You could have them be on a book, a pillow. I almost said a book, which you might have one of those, so cool beans if you do. And remember, we're trying to relax the rest of the body as much as possible. And if it helps to breathe into that area by focusing your breath towards the body part that we're working, that works with mind-muscle connection. Come on up, walk that foot in, a little like spider walk. Bring them up nice and tall, and then we're leaning in. Walk that foot to the side and come on down towards the ground. And then come on up, bring that foot back in, straighten that front leg, and roll it down. Okay, release that leg. Come back to sitting on your heels, and you can unfold your mat. And let's make our way into a downward dog. So your hamstring should be a little bit warm. So you might be able to straighten your legs a little bit more than usual, but not necessarily. So do what feels good for you today. We are going to spend a little bit more time in downward dog today than we did on Tuesday. So at any point in time, you need to go into child's, feel free. All right, let's roll from downward dog to plank. And then go to downward dog. To plank. And downward dog. 3 more just like that. Plank. Downward dog. Plank. Downward dog. And then plank, and then come onto your knees. Take a second, rock a little side to side. We are going to do that again. This time, I would like you to imagine that you're going over a little bit of a wall. So instead of going from downward dog to plank, to downward dog to plank, you're going up and over, and up and over. So let me just demonstrate this. So I'm here in my downward dog, and I'm going to go up and over to plank, and up and over to downward dog. That's what we're aiming for, but of course, if you want to do something different, you do, and if it's too much on your wrists, then you could just hang out, wait for us, or go into child's pose. So whatever floats your boat today, based on what's happening with your body right this minute. Okay, so let's go into our downward dog. Get situated there. Okay, let's go up and over to plank. And up and over, downward dog. That's 1, we're going for 5. Up and over to plank. Up and over, downward dog. Up and over plank. Up and over, downward dog. Just 2 more. Up and over plank. Up and over, down dog. Up and over plank. Up and over, downward dog. And then drop those knees and sit back on those heels. So because we gave a little bit of heat to our body, we're going to give a chance for that heat to dissipate. That's one thing I promise in our Rise and Shine Yoga is that you will get sweaty, and I want to stick with that promise. So while we're hanging out here, just breathing, giving those wrists a chance to decompress a little bit, let's go into my favorite spinal twist. Right hand on the left leg, left hand by the tailbone, and twist. And let's switch opposite side, same thing. And come back and give those wrists a little roll side to side. And we're going to go into some eagle arms. So what that means is, if you'd rather sit down in a different position, if you want to sit cross-legged, that's totally fine. I'm just going to stay here. But as long as you feel like you can move your arms without having your legs hit, that's what we're going for. So we're going to have our arms out in front of us. Our right arm is going to come underneath our left. And we're either going to have our palms touch or not, depending on the flexibility of your forearms. Once you have that taken care of, you can either stay here or you can lift up on those elbows so they're closer to your face. We're just going to breathe and hold here. And then release, bring those arms up in front. The left arm goes underneath the right. Whatever you had for your hand position, hopefully you can replicate it on this side. And lift up those elbows if you are. And then release. Okay, so we're going to go into our plank downward dogs for one more round. One on the left, one on the right. We're going to do a three-legged dog into a knee tuck. Now that sounds a lot more complicated than it is, so don't worry. Let me demo. So we're going to be in our downward dog, and I'm going to pick my starting leg. In this particular one, I'm doing my left because I'm kind of hit the wall. And I'm going to be here in a three-legged dog. And then I'm going to bring that knee in and tuck. And then I'm going to kick it back out. So we're going from our downward dog to a plank, like we've done already today, but we're adding in that core component of bringing that knee to the chest. If this is something that you feel you're not ready for today, that's fine. You can just go back to what we did the first round or the second round where we went over in our little arches. So we're going to do 5 to the right leg and 5 to the left leg. We'll take a couple of little second pause in between switching legs just for you to get a chance to get everything situated and shake things out a bit. And then this will be your last time in downward dog for today. Okay, so we're in downward dog. Pick the leg you want to start with. Kick it up behind. Come in, tuck in for 1. And kick back. For 2. Kick back. For 3, kick back. For 4, kick back. And for 5, and kick back. And drop into your hands and your knees. We use that kick back, knee in transition a lot in a flow practice, which we'll do next week. So I definitely want to get people comfortable doing it, or reintroduced if you haven't been doing yoga in a little while. Okay, last round through, other side, into downward dog. Lift that leg behind, come and tuck for 1, and back. 2, and back. 3, and back. and back. Drop onto your hands and knees, and then swing your legs around in front. So that was a lot of wrist work, so we are going to stay off our wrists. So no worries about that. And our legs are just in front, toes pointed up, and we're just kind of giving them a little shake. Take your right knee, hug it on in, a big squeeze, and physically just look over your shoulder. And look over the other shoulder. And then switch it out, other leg. Hug that knee in first, big old hug. Be grateful for your body and what it can do. And turn and face one way. And the other way. Come back to the center. Straighten the legs out. Cross one leg over the other. I don't care which one. And sit up nice and tall. Point those toes up to the ceiling. And then walk your hands down as far as they will go. Mine's not going very far. So you're feeling a stretch on the lower leg, your hamstring. And then switch it out. Toes active and lean on in. And release. I would like you to stand up. Now, however you want to stand up is totally fine. We're not going any super magical dancey way to get up. Just stand up. And we're going to go into our eagle legs. So have something for stability, totally fine. You're not cheating in any way, shape, or form. You're making sure that you're doing the proper form, which is going to benefit you in the long run. So all I'm going to do first is cross my right leg over my left. And this may be where I stay. Otherwise, I'm going to lift that leg up and I'm going to attempt to cross this leg behind. In order for me to do that with my body, I need to squat down a little bit. Totally fine. And this is our eagle leg. So use the chair, table, bed, whatever, sofa you have for stability and balance. And if you can let go after you get to the position, great. And if not, great too. All right, so find your position, whatever it is for you today, and go. And then slowly release. The same thing on the other side, crossing the left over the right, either staying here or wrapping that foot around. And let's get into position and hold. And release. Beautiful. Okay, so now I would like your feet to be in a plie position, which means the toes are pointing towards the edge of the mat, and you can decide how close your heels are to each other. It all depends on your hips. Everyone's hips are going to be a little different in the angle that they come out. It's called your Q angle. All right, so your hands are just gonna be on your hips, or if you would like them somewhere else for balance, by all means. And all we're gonna do is some little plie squats. So that means our feet are hanging out where they are, and we're just gonna have our knees come out to the side, and we're gonna come up. We're gonna do 10, nice, slow and controlled, and you decide the depth. And if you want to physically have your feet wider by stepping more towards the other end of your mat, totally fine, no worries. You find the position that works for you. All right, so let's do nice 10, slow and controlled plie squats. Let's go down. If I'm leaning forward with my squats, that's okay. Just make sure my back is flat. I have 2 more left. You may as well, you may not. Maybe you're already done. And then relax. Next, I'm going to do 10 more, but I'm going to have one foot up like this. So I'm on my toes on one side, and my other side is nice and flat. So pick a leg, pop on up, and let's go for 10 more. 1. I'm going to shake that leg out, and then I'm going to go on and do the same thing on the other side. So you want to make sure every side is balanced. So let's say you only made it to 8 on repetitions on the side. Totally fine, no worries. Only go to 8 on this side too. All right, let's go. I have 2 more. And really shake it out. We have one more final set. That one is either going to be on both sets of toes at the same time, or heck no, not happening. I'm staying with both feet on the ground at the same time, just like we did on the first round. So totally up to you if you want to start on the toes and then drop down after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 repetitions, whatever it happens to be. It's just something we like to try to see where our balance is today. And if it works, great. And if not, we modify. So I'm coming up onto those toes. And I make sure I'm going to sit back with a nice flat back. 1. We may have to go a little slower here. I've got 2 more. Either do 2 more with me or finish what you want and have started, and then drop those feet and just shake them out. Okay, we're going back down to the ground, same as before. However you get there, totally fine. It just don't have to be anything fancy. Just lay down on the ground, or sit down on the ground, or laying down, but not straight yet. Okay, so our legs are out nice and wide again. All we're going to do is switch over and literally give ourselves a hug. So we're just crossing one arm over the other, big hug, but our toes are active and we're sitting up nice and tall. And then I'm going to switch, other arm on top. Same thing. And release. Take one knee, bring it in, and this time cross it over. So we're giving a big hug here. And then I'm going to take, so if my right leg is crossed, I'm going to take my left leg, give it, like my left arm, give it a big hug. Take my other arm, bring it by my tailbone, and final twist. And then I'm going to release. I bring that other foot in, cross it over, give it a big old hug. Staying active in this straight leg. And then my left leg is here, so I'm going to take my right arm, wrap it around, other arm by my tailbone, and I'm going to twist. Release those arms, release those legs, bring those feet in, bottoms of the feet to touch, open those feet up like a little bit of a book, and give your feet some love. And then once you're done with that, hold on to your feet and then just lean forward. Drop your left shoulder and look over your right. And then switch, drop your right shoulder and look over your left. And then come back to center. Come on up, take your hands to the outside of your legs and bring them in. Okay, so for our Shavasana today, I invite you to do a legs up in the air version. So what that means is I can either take my prop that I used, put it underneath my hips, and just pop my legs in the air. Or I can go a little bit more comfortable and just come really close to a wall, a bed, a cabinet, something like that, and let my legs rest there. If you don't want to do that, totally fine. You can go into a standard Shavasana. But I would like you to think about coming in this position. We're going to be here for 2 minutes. We're still relaxing, we're still letting our mind wander, and we're just cementing our practice. Just in a different position. Bring one knee down, hug it in. Bring the other knee down, hug it in. If you have a prop, remove it. And then slowly make your way from whatever item you have that you may have been using and roll yourself up. Thanks for coming. Welcome to completing the first week of 2021 exercise-wise. Hopefully I will see you next week. See you later.